Hello and welcome to News Panorama live from NTA Network Studio. To further boost international air operations, President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates a new terminal building for Port Harcourt International Airport. Nigeria's role in attainment of Africa's Union Agenda 2023 in focus as AUC chairman on a 2-day official visit to Nigeria. On our special package on Panorama, the last has not been heard of the Dura-Du Pond in Jos as Nigerian Army makes further progress in its effort to get the missing general dead or alive. I'm Caleb Guchin. The Independent National Electoral Commission has released a list of presidential and National Assembly candidates for 2019 general elections. These include 79 presidential candidates, 1,803 candidates for the Senate, and 4,548 candidates for the House of Representatives. According to the release, 89 out of the 91 political parties made the submission. The Kaduna State government has restated a 24 hours curfew in Kaduna metropolis and environs, Kaswan Magani, Kajuru, Kateri, and Kachia, with effect from 11 a.m. today and will remain in force until further notice. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Samuel Aruan, says the measure is to help maintain peace as the state mourn the death of His Royal Highness Agom Adara in the early hours of today in the hands of the criminals who abducted him last week. The Kaduna State government calls for calm in all the communities, appealing that these criminal acts should not be allowed to throw the state in further chaos. The new terminal building for the Port Harcourt International Airport, Nagwa, Rivers State, has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is not only in furtherance of his administration's infrastructural renewal program, but represents a landmark for international air travelers from the Niger Delta region. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari.
The new airport terminal building in Port Harcourt is one of the 4 other similar projects being executed in Abuja, Lagos, and Kano through the China Exim Bank initial loan facility of $500 million, as well as the counterpart contribution of $100 million by the federal government. The Buhari administration inherited the project at 30% level of execution and ensured its completion as part of deliberate efforts at sustaining the development of infrastructure for economic growth in all the geopolitical zones of the country. Addressing participants at the ceremony, President Muhammadu Buhari commended the people of the Niger Delta region as well as airport users for their patience and understanding during the period of construction. The project, he said, is part of government's efforts at modernizing the aging airport infrastructure to meet global aviation standards and improve service delivery in tandem with best international practices.
Nigeria, having an advantageous central location within the sub-region and our desire to develop into regional air transportation hub, must upgrade its facilities to take advantage of its assets. The recent decision by the federal government to remove value-added tax from domestic air transportation is in line with global best practices.
The president said following population explosion with consequent surge in air passenger traffic, the capacity of the airport terminals became woefully inadequate, hence the decisive action by government on the aviation sector as catalyst for economic growth.
This will make air travel more affordable and subsequently lead to the creation of jobs by air transport service value chain, as well as increased revenues for the government.
He also promised to sustain efforts at developing Nigeria's power and health sectors, as well as the completion of all abandoned infrastructure projects, especially the railroads. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State expressed delight over the completion of the project, which he described as significant to the economic development of the state, and promised to partner with the federal government towards improving the access road to the facility.
I can tell you that for this today, the people of Rivers State, the people of Niger Delta are happy for seeing this. What you are doing today will boost the economy of the state, will create employment for our people, will bring in investors to this state.
The new terminal building has the capacity to process 7 million passengers annually. Given our desire to develop into a regional air transportation hub, we remain committed to ensuring that our industry remains safe and secure, and above all, to keep pace with the global world trend.
The two-story terminal building has, among other facilities, 24 check-in counters, 3 baggage collection conveyor belts, 28 immigration desks, 4 security screening points, and 4 passenger boarding gates.
Today, as the senator represents Rivers Senatorial District, where this airport is located, I feel fulfilled that the airport that is described as being the worst in the world is among the best in the world.
The Port Harcourt Airport, which is the 3rd busiest in Nigeria, recording in 2017 alone a passenger volume of 1.08 million, was also rated as the 3rd worst in the world. That poor rating, however, aviation experts believe can be completely altered by putting into use the newly inaugurated terminal building. From Port Harcourt, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Nigeria's role in the attainment of the African Union Agenda 2063 is crucial, and Chairman of the African Union Commission, Musa Mohammed, on a 2-day official visit to Nigeria, is seeking more contribution from the country. This was at the administrative roundtable with the chairperson held in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the meeting was chaired by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Godfrey Onyema.
Agenda 2063 is a strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of the African continent, and it seeks to accelerate the implementation of initiatives for growth and sustainable development. Chairperson of the Commission, Musa Faki Muhammad, acknowledges the leadership role of the country on peace and security, economy, political development, nationally, regionally, and on the African continent over the years.
I turn towards Abuja. When you are big, everybody looks up to you, and therefore you have also major responsibilities and obligations. So therefore it's only to the big ones that you ask for more, to do more.
Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema says the visit of the AU Commission's chairperson is very apt, as the Commission is at a very important point in its history.
It was an excellent meeting, and on the basis of this meeting, we plan to now have a coherent policy on our engagement with the African Union, engagement with the reform.
Discussion also includes present position of the country on the signing of the African Free Trade Zone.
President's recent decision here in the State House on Monday, inaugurating his committee, the Presidential Committee on assessing the implications of the AFCFTA and preparing a readiness plan.
The African Union is considered as the engine of Africa, and for it to succeed in its programs, member countries are enjoined to key into these programs effectively. From the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Nigerian government is partnering the Global Fund for the Prevention and Treatment of HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, says the partnership, which has a cycle of 3 years with a grant of $660 million, will be used judiciously in line with federal government prevention program. Basi Eta Akwan reports.
World Health Organization report shows that Nigeria is among the top countries with malaria disease burden, the second largest in HIV infection, and the 7th for tuberculosis in the world. The good news, the Minister of Health said, is the reported downward trend with the number of people infected with HIV. Thus, he attributed to the several health interventions by the government.
So this government will not take health for granted, and we have strong support at the highest level.
Executive Director Global Fund Peter Sands noted that the new grant is to further assist Nigeria in the prevention and treatment of the 3 diseases.
But I think it's worth saying that together we still have a lot to do if we want to stop the deaths in this country from HTB malaria, and we want to end the epidemics.
We are also aware of the need to have sustainable arrangements in the long term, because as they say, you cannot continue to expect gifts all the time, forever. And the government is committed to taking its rightful place in terms of investing in the future for the health of our people. And
records indicate that since 2014, Global Fund has so far spent $2.6 billion to fight HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria in Nigeria. Basi Taikpang, NTA News.
The search for the missing general for about a month now has led the army to uncover many mysteries and arrests of some suspects alleged to have some knowledge of the killing. Rinred Sylvanus Lord has been covering events as they unfold.
The search for General Alkali, reported missing on the 3rd of September, led the Nigerian Army headquarters to inaugurate a special task force to search for General. Acting on an intelligence report, the search and rescue team was led to the pond at Duradu in Jos South local government area of Plateau State. The search that seemed almost impossible at first, with resistance from some women of the community, began to expose suspected criminal activities, beginning with the discovery of this car door. This resolved to dig further, an act that resulted in the discovery of General Alkali's car.
The sum total of it is that this pond contains a lot of hidden secrets, and we are determined to unveil.
We have searched, we've not seen the body yet, but we'll continue. We know what to do.
2 days later, 2 more vehicles, a Toyota Hiace bus and a Red Rover, were pulled out from the pond. On fears of collective punishment on the community due to these discoveries, the military gave this assurance.
We know that we have credible intelligence to know who and who are involved, and we'll get them sooner than you expected. So the village or the community does not have anything to fear.
The mandate, according to the general supervising the search and rescue, is to find the missing general, dead or alive. The 13 suspects paraded by the army include those who were caught in possession of firearms without license, those who heard and saw when the general's car was stopped and subsequently pushed into the pond. The garrison commander, Brigadier General Umar Mohammed, told newsmen that their refusal to report the incident makes them accomplices.
We arrested people locally made pistol that fires 9 mm. We saw people with locally made rifle that fires 7.62 mm special. I want to cordon one of the houses. Somebody even fired some shots.
Brigadier General Mohammed emphasized that in their search for the missing general, adherence to principles and respect for human rights will be applied.
All the actors involved in this criminal act are still at large, and they are well known to us. Efforts have been intensified to get them arrested, as their photographs and personal details have been handed over to relevant security agencies.
He further called on anyone with useful information to call the phone number 090-740-28881, as all sources of information will be treated with utmost confidentiality. In Jos, Rinred Sylvanus Lot, NTA News.
We will now join the discussion segment on this particular issue with Sani Ibn Saleh as our guide.
With me in the studio to throw more light on the exercise carried out by the Nigerian Army is the General Officer Commanding 3rd Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Benson Akinrolio. Sir, you're very welcome to Panorama.
Thank you, please.
Sir, may we start by saying how far with the pond evacuation?
Okay, thank you, moderator. Before I go to that direct question, let me just lay the foundation of the background for us to understand.
Okay.
On September 2nd, which was on Sunday, there was this unknown gunmen attacked a shopping complex at a Lavende community in Duradu district of Jos South. 11 people were alleged to have been killed, and the next day, which was on Monday, the youth came out in their large number to protest. And in the process, they blocked the road, and they didn't allow anybody to pass. Unfortunately, the immediate past chief of Army Administration, Major General Idris Alkali, was passing, and he ran into them. And unfortunately, we believe he was attacked in that process. However, before leaving Abuja to Bauchi, the general had called his family that he was in Jos. And that was the last time contact was made with him. The geolocation of his phone too showed that he was in that area. Then human intelligence too, people came to inform us that that was the last place, and that was where they witnessed perhaps how and what happened to him. It was on that basis that we set out to drain the pond. And before we came in as members of 3rd Division from Rukuba Barracks, I'm aware Operation Safe Haven had met the district head to inform them of that intention. So we were surprised that women came out to protest, but that did not deter us, and we were able to pump until we were able to bring out his vehicle. It may interest you also that as we reduce the level of the water, we send local divers to check. And the first time they went in, and they hooked onto the door of a white bus, which we tore out and brought out, and we saw a sticker at that door of the white bus. And behold, the policemen who came from that division around that Bukuru area, they were able to identify the sticker at that door as a missing person that was declared missing since June this year, who was plying the Sijidat road, and he was not seen, but his bus was there. And we continued. Eventually, when the water reduced, we brought out the vehicle of the general, which was a Corolla, a black Corolla vehicle, with a plate number Quara MUN 670AA. We brought it out. Thereafter, that was on 29 when we brought it out. Then on the 3rd of October, we brought the white bus, which was declared missing since June 2018, with a plate number Platorium 307AA. And later, we still brought a Red Rover car with plate number Bauchi AG 645 Toro number. And it may interest you that the owner of those, or the relatives of those vehicles, came to identify those vehicles. For the white bus, they came and testified that he has been missing since June. The police have a case file on it. But for the Red Rover, the families came all the way from Bauchi, 3 grown-ups boys and a lady, and we came with a document, which was a petition they had written to the police, that the owner of the vehicle with a friend and a driver, they were invited to come and sell his plot of land in the Rion area. We have the names of those who invited him, and he came, himself and his friend, and the driver in the Red Rover. They were attacked. And when they were attacked, they killed the owner of the vehicle who owns that plot. His friend too was killed. The driver was attacked, but he managed to escape. When he escaped, he ran and informed the police. When he informed the police, and precisely that was on 31st of January 2013. Then on 1st of February 2013, which was the next day, he went to the police, he reported to the police. The police mobilized with 6 vehicles, and he was determined to show them because he saw what happened, where the vehicle was pushed to, and where the 2 other people who were killed were dumped. It may interest you that the women in black too came out and prevented the police from doing their legitimate duty. The police, in their own wisdom, perhaps did not want to record more casualty, they withdrew. And since that time, they've been attempting to go there, and they have not been able to recover their vehicle. So to your problem directly, once we recover those 2 vehicles, We were aware from our intelligence that the body may not be there, but we went further. And once the local divers told us that what they are seeing is all those vehicles that have been covered with mud, and the pond was caving in. As we pump water, for those who know that nature abhors vacuum, so the pond was caving in, which makes it dangerous for equipment and men to continue with that. With technical advice from the commander, 43 Relief Engineers, we had to withdraw and suspend the pumping of water. For now, we have withdrawn from there. We have suspended the pumping of water. However, we may go back, maybe at the peak of dry season, when the water must have receded a bit, because we did this pumping at the rainy season when the volume of water was high.
Okay. So, so far, how many vehicles and things did you recover from the pond up to the time you stopped the pumping out of water?
Okay, like I said earlier, we recovered the black Toyota Corolla of the General and the white Helios, the white bus, and a Red Rover car. For the General, his own vehicle is with us in the barracks, and for the two other vehicles, they were handed over to the police, who have case file on those missing vehicles already. Like I told you, the white bus, there is a case file of somebody who is missing all the way. The case file is from Buku, and the other one, the Red Rover of the occupants from Bauchi, they had petitioned the police and complained officially.
Okay. Now, with the report of some arrests already made, one will conclude that the army is getting closer to unraveling the circumstances that led to the missing general. Do you share this view?
Yes, very well. Every day we make progress. When we receive a directive from Army Headquarters to conduct this operation, the search and rescue for the general, we issue an operation order and we set out our own mission, which we call target or objectives. First, to rescue the general, alive or dead, to recover his vehicle, and to apprehend the perpetrators. Like I've said, we have been able to recover his vehicle, even though people came to protest, but we knew the vehicle was there. Then, to rescue the general, alive or dead, we are still on it, and we are making progress. That's why we made some arrests. People have told us what happened, and those who are involved or those who participated in the killing. And we are very close, but we are yet to get those people because they must have escaped. And that's why we are appealing to those communities and everybody who knows that they should bring them. We have identified those who are involved, we have their pictures, and we have contacted relevant agency to declare them wanted, so that we'll do. But we are getting closer to finding his own body or himself alive and to apprehend the perpetrators.
Now, on the heat of the arrests, some cries were heard from members of the public that some of the arrests were arbitrary and so on and so forth. What do you have to say?
No. This is, like I've said earlier, the Nigerian Army is a highly professional army. That this operation is conducted based on credible intelligence, and we do our operation in line with the best international practices, with respect for human rights. And that is why we did not just arrest anybody. We went for those whose names were mentioned, and those are the people we picked up, and we have been able to get useful information to them. We did not clamp down on the community, but on their own, having seen that vehicle, they were afraid, and they ran away. Maybe because they knew they were thinking the army will storm the place. We did not do that, and we are not going to do that. We know those who are responsible, and we go after them. However, we have always been appealing to the community to allow them to cooperate with us.
Well, how do you relate with the community during the arrests? And as you said, there were no cases of human rights violations?
Not at all. Like I told you earlier, before we were calling, the commander of Operation Save Heaven had already intimated all those district heads and those involved. And when we recovered the vehicle, we were able to, we know the suspect, and we know those who are involved, and we were able to do that. Like we said, I told my officers in one of those meetings, I was privileged to have been Chief of Staff of Operation Save Heaven for about 3 years. I've been rising commander in this 3 division. I've been Chief of Staff too, so I know how the people behave. And in tactical, just as a second lieutenant or lieutenant tactical level, before you go for any operation, you discuss. And you need to know how and what about the advice or the community you meet. That's why in simple term we normally put it with a template and of saying SHIELD. S-H-I-E-L-D. S for strength, H for habit, E for intention, then E for equipment, L for location, and D for disposition. Then as we move to higher level, you begin to study that community. In elements of power, from what we do at higher level, you know that elements of power, you have tangible and intangible. The tangible, you do that of geography, population, resources. However, the intangible, you need to know the behavior of the people. We know how the people will behave, so we know how to relate with them. And it may interest you that when those women came, we knew that they may likely come because I've been operating in this terrain. We are surprised that at any short notice, it is easier for them to mobilize, dress up in a black dress, and come out and storm and prevent people from doing their work. But we knew they would come, and that is why we quickly invited the press, come and see those who want to obstruct something. And that is why we have no business, we have no problem with them at all. Because having talked to them, you remember one of them said, the water is the ancestral river and it should not be disturbed. Well, we are surprised how ancestral river will have cars dumping to them. And besides, that was not a river. It was just abandoned mining pit filled with water. So we were able to carry the press along and we work on intelligence. Only those who are involved will be arrested. So we had no problem to storm the community and we have been carrying them along.
So far, how many people have been arrested? In our news, we saw about 13 people being paraded.
Yes, those are the people we arrested, and those 13, we have finished our investigation with them. Those who are not involved, about 2, we have asked them to go. And it may interest you that those 13, we classify them for those, when you watch the clip, you remember that even when we were to go and make arrests of those involved, we had some with arms. And it is illegal for you to have arms when you don't have the license. That is 1. 2, we have, even within those 13, people who had, their boys told them, those walking around that area, their boys told them, a general vehicle had just been pushed into this pond yesterday. They did not report. We saw those who witnessed how the vehicle was pushed into the pond. In fact, when they pushed the vehicle into the pond, they went back with their keke napep jubilating as if it was a mission accomplished. All those who had or saw and did not report to the relevant security agencies, we felt that they are involved or complicity. So that's why we asked the police to continue further with the investigation.
Okay. Now, how can you assess the level of military-civilian relations generally from the point of view of the 3 armored div and the communities surrounding there?
Yes, the relationship has been very good. But you know, in some instances, we have some people that are bad. I remember when I was in Yola as the brigade commander, you cannot just do it alone. There are all these Garkida, Gombi, Hong, Mobi, Shellen, and the rest. When they see anything, they report to you. The same thing here. People have been cooperating. And they have realized that security is a collective responsibility. You cannot do it alone. The government, the people, and the security agencies must be involved so that we can work together. We have been having cooperation from those who are law-abiding, who are innocent. But you know, some are criminals, and that's why we don't want to criminalize that community. It's not all of them that are involved, only few that are the bad eggs or the rotten ones among them. And some of them, they believe they are not. So, and that is why we want to go after them. Well, the community has been cooperating, but we have got good relationship with them.
Finally, what reassurance do you give to the community? Because as we speak, it's as if they have run away from the area.
I was there yesterday. Before coming in, I was there today. And I've seen that they are yet to come back. We have appealed to them. Every forum we have been telling them that this is what we want you to do. Go back to your community if you have nothing to fear. But they are just being afraid. But we have told them, assist us so that we can get the general alive, or if he's dead, give us his body so that army can give him a befitting burial. And if he's alive, he goes back to his family so that we don't need to be coming there again. We have no intention of storming the place, and we have always been appealing to them that they should help us. The army is not army of occupation. It's Nigerian army. It belongs to them. It belongs to everybody. So we want a situation that they will support us so that we can get him alive or get his body. But for the perpetrators, we'll definitely go after them because we have their pictures and we know them.
Well, this is how far we can go. I hope that whoever has followed the discussion has been well educated about what has been going on about the search for the missing general. Continue to watch NTA.